Baldur's Gate 3 writer explains Act 2 scene changes. If the first act of Baldur's Gate 3 impresses many, then everything is not so simple. Not everyone appreciated how Larian built the structure of the game. There are several acts in Baldur's Gate 3. After the large-scale first act, the situation changes quite a lot, the importance of the player's choices is felt much weaker, and the atmosphere of what is happening generally changes. Creative Decision tried to explain the screenwriter Baldur's Gate 3 Adam Smith. After cleaning up such a large-scale first act, the repetition of the same cleaning up in the second could simply become boring. In addition, over time, the player gets used to it and it's time for the next stage of the adventure. One of the reasons Act 1 is so open is because you have room to experiment, and then as you progress through the game, Act 2 becomes more about, did you bring the right skills with you? Have you learned to navigate this much more dangerous area? The system things, and their combinations, that you have learned so far are what you need to survive, while Act 1 is much more playful. It's an adventure, right? The beginning of the adventure is much freer, you discover what your role is, what you can do. And then, in Act 2, the intensity of the drama increases. In Act 1 you are looking for the answer to the question, what is the greatest threat to me here? It gives a lot of direction to the storyline. And by Act 2. You better understand your personality in the game, what you would like, what you are capable of and how you want to handle the situation. So in Act 2 you have a lot of choice, but it's more about, a question like, what do we do with these specific things? Rather than what are we researching, what are we learning? I think that, it could have irritated, seemed harsh, because, second act, as it were, completely different. But therein lies its wealth. In terms of pacing, I think if we did 3 big chunks of space like we did in Act 1, it would be exhausting. There's a story impetus here, there are gameplay differences, but we didn't want people to think, well, it looks like I've cleared every part of this map, and then move on and think, now another one. That might be great, but it might also be, okay, now I'm going to repeat the same, clearing, process. So there's a lot of exploration in Act 2, a lot of discovery, but almost everything you discover in Act 2 points in a certain direction, which is Baldur's Gate.